Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at the 10 douchiest rich kids Snapchats. So I'm sure a lot of us use Snapchat to see what our friends are getting up to, but this is a view into the lives of the super rich. And while there's nothing wrong with being rich, it can become problematic if you're douchey about it. So guys, be sure to like the video and subscribe and comment I subscribed, and I'll try to reply to all of you. So coming in at number 10, we have electronics. You know the excited feeling you get when you buy a brand new phone and you want to keep it fresh and new? Well, for the rich kids of Snapchat, this isn't a concern. They use their tech in very bizarre ways, from using them to coordinate with their school uniforms, to using them as placemats and even a replacement as a notepad to do their algebra homework on. Some kids have even been screenshotted playing Jenga with their phones, and even using iPads and iPhones as levels for chairs. And if you're ever bored in design technology class, then just mess up your friend's $2,000 MacBook. I think it's safe to say that Apple could stay in business just with the amount of tech that these kids buy. Next up, we have making fun of the poor. So, as I said before, there's nothing wrong with being rich, but if you think that makes you better than everyone else, then you have a problem. The rich kids of Snapchat's favorite word appears to be peasant, and they also seem to feel the need to remind normal people, peasants, that their life is much more luxurious. From one kid needing peasant protection in his $2,000 shoes and $100,000 car, to a kid wanting to Molotov cocktail peasants using champagne, and comparing state schools to Nazi concentration camps, and saying they're going to attack them. Is that even legal? And there was one really unlucky kid who had to eat peasant food. Okay, I don't care how rich you are, you gotta like chicken McNuggets. Next up, we have money. It's clear the rich kids of Snapchat spend a lot of money, but that's not the only way the rich kids of Snapchat use money. To some, it's a useful alternative to a $2 box of tissues, or even worse, using it as toilet paper. In fact, cash can solve all kinds of problems, such as replacing a tablecloth, mocking the poor, and buying lunch. And talking of food, one girl even rhetorically asked if over $2,000 was enough to buy ice cream, while showing off a stack of cash. Looks like that wasn't the only thing she was showing off. But next up, we have cars. What did your first car look like? This, maybe this if you were lucky? Well, to the rich kids of Snapchat, cars are an essential way for them to show off their wealth. These kids often have cars which cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in some cases, millions of dollars. And when I say it's kids who are getting these insane cars, I really do mean kids. For example, this 14-year-old who received a Porsche for his birthday, and this 16-year-old who got a Lamborghini for his. But don't think these kids have it easy. Take this poor guy, for example, who has to choose which of his 4 Ferraris he's gonna drive each day, and this kid who crashed his Aston Martin and had to settle for a Bentley. Next up, we have presents. Because of the age of these kids, it's no surprise that they didn't make all of that money by themselves, often relying on their rich dads to buy all of this stuff for them. And if you guys thought that all of the stuff they seem to get anyway was crazy, well, here's what happens when their rich parents really want to surprise them with something big. One kid got a $200,000 Rolls Royce for passing their driving test, and another rich kid got over $2,000 in lunch money. And for getting an A in math class, this kid received a $1,000 Burberry wallet. And one incredibly ungrateful kid complained about getting 2 diamond-encrusted Rolexes instead of a yacht. What was their dad thinking? Next up, we have watches. Time is money, especially for the rich kids of Snapchat. We all know they love flaunting their cars, cash, and technology, but the thing that they love to show off the most by far is their watches. Whether it's asking their fellow rich Snapchat friends for advice on which of their 12 expensive watches they should wear, mocking people about how their watches cost more than their cars, and even making fun of kids who didn't pay their way into good schools. And another thing that's clear is that one watch just isn't flashy enough, so don't be surprised to see these kids wearing multiple watches, and having so many that they end up just giving some to their champagne bottles. Next up, we have complaining. With all this money and luxury, you'd think these kids would be quite content. Yeah, not exactly. If there's one thing these kids do like to do, it's complain. Some kids scratch their Rolexes and have to buy totally new ones. Others complain about their dads picking them up from school in helicopters, and worst of all, only getting $700 to shop. Another thing these kids love to complain about is cars, such as their parents getting the wrong color, or having to drive $100,000 Range Rovers and Porsches because their dad took the family helicopter. Wow, looks like money doesn't buy happiness. Next up, we have houses. While these kids might not be old enough to own their own houses, it doesn't stop them showing off their parents. And because a lot of these kids go to fancy boarding schools, they feel it's necessary to post photos of their insane houses when they arrive back. And seeing as these guys' parents are so rich, their houses are often all over the world. And some of these look like Hogwarts in real life, and others are just insanely big houses. The interior of these people's houses are even more insane, with personal chefs and butlers, houses with built-in helipads, and of course the massive size of the interior of the houses. So next time you come home from school to your house, just think about these rich kids going to their insane houses. Next up, we have planes. While most kids get to school by bus, car, or walking, for the rich kids of Snapchat, that's not an option. It's not uncommon to see a rich kid of Snapchat getting into a private jet to go to school. And after a long day of counting money at school, do you take the private jet back home? Hell no, you take the helicopter back home. Or in this kid's case, get the helicopter to lunch. And in one scenario, a girl asked her dad for a helicopter, and he bought her two. I guess all of these rich kids need to make use of the helipads they have on their roofs. And if you're a peasant and don't have a helipad built into your own house, then just land it in your personal tennis court. But next up, we have boats. You've seen the cars, the planes, and the helicopters, but another vehicle that every rich kid needs is a yacht. Whether you want to spend time with your uncle or you need to check the time twice while riding on one, the rich kids of Snapchat love yachts. Or should I say daddy's yachts. And while they might love owning and showing them off, like a lot of other things on this list, they don't take good care of them. For example, this kid who sunk a yacht after a boat party. And while most kids would be screwed if they broke something their parents bought that cost $100, this yacht probably cost more than $100,000, and he didn't even seem to care. Then again, I doubt his parents do either if they're willing to buy their kid a yacht. If you like this video, then you should check out the new channel, The Things, and watch 15 annoying Facebook posts that will get you unfriended. The Things has list videos of fun and feel-good topics that I'm sure you'll love, so make sure to subscribe to The Things for awesome videos every day.